Okay, we got another loyal patron supporter request today. This one is suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer murdered 7 women over the last 17 years. This is a place in Long Island, and I'm not actually from the US, but my Canadian girlfriend told me that Long Island is basically a very, very kind of wealthy, affluent place. So this is insane, guys, to see serial killers from a really wealthy area. You know what I mean? It's insane. That's like true serial killers. When you see a guy murder people like King Von from like the hood, O-Block, it's not really serial killer, okay? Because they're just trying to get money, drug money. This guy was like really wealthy business owner, okay? Massive guy, CEO, I think, big guy, vice president or whatever. He has pled not guilty to all the charges. And his name is Rex Heuermann. This one's gonna be insane. Drop a comment down below. Let's hear what ABC News has to say.
Gilgo Beach, a spot that had once been synonymous with summer, surfing, and fun in the sun. That is, until police started finding body after body.
Whoa.
For more than a decade, those unsolved murders kept Long Island shore towns on edge.
Could 4 murders on Long Island be the work of a serial killer?
We want to bring to justice this animal that has obviously taken the lives of a number of people.
How much did this rock Long Island?
Oh, it was horrible. There was a dark cloud over the entire island.
At least 11 bodies, most of them women, many of them dismembered. The remains strewn across a half-mile stretch of Gilgo Beach and in woods further east. Police say a serial killer was on the loose.
The acts are depraved and heinous.
He has been on the hunt for sex workers who he has brutalized.
The sheer number of victims that were discovered shows the magnitude of the kind of offender we may be dealing with.
Oh man, this guy looks like a weird dude, bro.
Did you do it?
Authorities say the man who committed most of these monstrous crimes is Rex Heuermann, an architect, husband, and father by day.
What?
They say a killer by night.
Rex Heuermann is a demon that walks
He kind of looks like Harvey Weinstein.
among us, a predator that ruined families.
I probably could have cheated death 1,000 times and never knew it, but with him, I think I cheated death and I knew I did.
Rex!
Hello!
Hi. How you doing?
Good to see you.
Likewise.
This is the seemingly mild-mannered father of 2, profiled in an online video about New York real estate.
When a job that should have been routine suddenly becomes not routine, I get the phone call.
Bro, what am I watching? This is insane, lads.
Authorities say brutally murdered 7 women. He's pleaded not guilty to all the charges.
He's a man who's never been arrested before. He's maintained his innocence from the inception of this case.
13 years after the first bodies were uncovered at Gilgo Beach, authorities finally zeroed in on Rex Heuermann.
Wow.
Plainclothes officers surrounding him on a busy street in Manhattan.
When they did make an arrest, I was stunned because there had been no media attention on the case at all for 11 months, not even a news article.
Wow.
So I was worried that behind the scenes, they had lost steam.
With the arrest, nonstop news coverage began, an orchestrated perp walk to finally show his face.
I've seen Rex Heuermann in court, and he is a kind of a hulking figure. He's tall, wide. He even makes some of the court officers look small.
I mean, he's fat as hell, but anyways, he looks like a slob.
For days, authorities turned his home upside down, even digging up the backyard. Curious.
Man, American police are just phenomenal. Digging up his backyard, like you'd never see that. Like we're so far behind. Like they're digging up his house, they're going through his stuff. They're so like advanced with like catching people. Serial killing is that's no joke, guys. That's terrifying shit, you know.
He's turned his home upside down.
Wow.
Even digging up the backyard. Curious onlookers were there for every discovery.
Police ended up seizing hundreds of electronic devices from his house. They discovered a single Word document that ended up becoming one of the most disturbing parts of the case. This document, according to prosecutors, reads like a plan for
Whoa. This is like his portfolio basically for killing people. T1 clothes and personal items, dropped clothes, wipes and towels, props, toys, wood items, anything that touched T1. What is T1? T1 is like the flippin' woman, you know. Remove trace DNA, remove ID marks, remove marks from torture, remove head and hands, package for transport. Ew, dude, this guy is insane. This is insane. This is proper serial killer shit. America has proper serial killers. It's insane, man. I feel like in Europe, in England, they used to have that, but I'm not sure they have that much too much anymore.
How to go about killing victims, where to bury them, what to keep in mind for the next time, if something wasn't quite right, the kind of hardware that would be necessary for killing and dismemberment.
He's talking about preferences, ways to improve. He's saying things like, hit harder next time. Just really devastating plans for the next person he intends to target.
So as far as the planning document, he had pointed out that the ropes broke, and so he needed a thicker rope to bind these women to. So it tells us that he's getting off on the planning, but also that he's learning from past mistakes, and he wants to make sure that he's correcting his errors so that he maybe one day will get to the perfect crime.
There's also a section that investigators say appears to be a reference to potential targets.
So TRG seems to indicate in this document a victim he's looking at. He even explicitly said, small is good.
He went after smaller women.
He went after smaller women for the purpose of cleaning up easier.
We know that he was targeting smaller bodies. We know that they're sex workers, women who were feminine and small and probably couldn't put up as much of a fight.
According to investigators, this planning document was created the exact same year Valerie Mack, whose death Heuermann was charged with just last month, was murdered. Whoa. Authorities say she fit the profile of what he was hunting for. Small, only 5 feet tall, and a sex worker, just 24 years old when she went missing.
Valerie Mack struggled with drug use, and that led her to engage in survival sex work.
Valerie's decapitated remains were discovered about 40 miles from Gilgo Beach a few months after her disappearance in 2000. Parts of her body were bound with rope. More than a decade later, the rest of her body would be found during the search at Gilgo Beach.
How many times have you actually been out to Gilgo Beach?
I've probably been here like 15 or 20 times. I come out here kind of as often as I can. It just helps you.
And not anymore. If you're a woman, stay away from Gilgo Beach. Well, I suppose it's okay now, but...
You get some greater perspective on what we're dealing with here.
Alexis Linkletter is from Long Island and has lived and breathed this case for much of her life.
And there's no doubt that the entire nation is completely enthralled and mystified by this case.
She hosts her own podcast on the murders, Unraveled, for Investigation Discovery.
This whole path here didn't used to be here. So trucks used to be able to essentially pull right up to this, which is probably what our suspect did in this case.
If you're looking at all this brush and marsh right here, like if you're looking at double body.
It's extremely remote at night. There's no street lights. So you would see someone coming from miles away in either direction. And before this bike path was here, you really could just back your vehicle up to it and do whatever you needed to do and have no one see you.
I remember everything about that night because he scared the crap out of me. And nobody's ever made me scared or uncomfortable like that. Like when he got arrested, I was like, I knew it.
Nikki Brass considers herself lucky. She says her date in 2015 with him left her terrified.
I was on...
She slept with him?
She says her date in 2015 with him left her terrified.
I was on Seeking Arrangements, like Escort Alligator, and I posted looking for a sugar daddy. I'm not sure which one he contacted me on because it's been over 10 years, but he messaged me.
She says they messaged back and forth for a few days, and that some of the messages were concerning.
So, first of all, he wanted me to meet him directly at his house. He didn't want to meet public, which I don't do. I'm not coming directly to a stranger's house. So
Dude, that's so dodgy. Just come on over to my gaff. I've never met you before. This is a little tip, because dude, I should have been the police. I should have been a guard. Always meet people in public, you know, because a lot of the times, like when you're texting people on dating apps, like if you meet somebody at your gaff or invite people to your house, that should be a red flag immediately. That's crazy. Unless you have met the person before or whatever. But meeting people in public is a lot, of course, for the first time is a mandatory. If you go straight to someone's house, you're just asking for problems. That's crazy. Matter of fact, I don't really go to people's houses anymore. I've just learned at 25, in terms of like meeting friends or whatever, I feel like going to people's houses directly, that's a bit Stodge, man.
Not want to meet in public was kind of like a big red flag for me.
Even in the messages you had about
Yeah, but I ignored it. Like, he was someone that was like, I have a lot of money, I could take care of you.
They decide to meet, she says, at a restaurant.
What was it like? How'd the date go?
So when we sat down, it was basic small talk, like normal stuff you would talk about when you first sit down on a date. So this is what you do for a living, what do you want to do, what are your dreams, like basic stuff.
Dude, I was in Galway a few weeks ago with the lads. We just went to some pub on the beach, just like on the promenade. Kind of exact same as this. Kind of a really nice area of the west of Ireland. And we went into a pub, well, it was a restaurant. And dude, there was literally a guy with a sugar... I think Galway has the highest number of sugar daddies in the whole country of Ireland, actually, kind of funny enough. But we saw a sugar daddy situation going on right beside us. It was hilarious. But it kind of reminds you that, like, this guy could be a murderer or whatever. You know, you never really know when you go on sugar daddy websites, guys. I'd be super careful about that shit.
That's when he asked if I like true crime. I was like, yes. Like, I was excited to talk about it because most people don't want to.
Oh shit, that's insane. Do you like true crime? Do you like murder documentaries? Oh my god.
In a true crime conversation, she says, didn't set up.
He's like, do you like murder documentaries? You're about to be in one type of shit, you know what I mean? Bro, people are insane.
Off any red flags. Until...
Once he said, have you heard of the Gilgo Beach killer? And I said, yeah. He got like very, very excited. Like his body language changed. He like moved into the table and like got his elbows on it. Like he was very like wanting to talk about that and was excited that he was able to.
And what's going through your head?
I mean, I just thought he was a buff, but then like he seemed way too weird. It didn't seem like somebody who was just nerding out. It was somebody who was like reliving what they did and enjoying reliving what they did.
Holy shit, that's a good point. Because you know, like a lot of people nowadays have like autism and like they can't, you know, publicly can't speak to people, can't speak to women, or like you're kind of a nerdy kind of guy, you know, whatever. But yeah, she said it's different than that. Oh, that's crazy.
She says their date didn't end well.
He was like, so you're gonna come back to my house, right? And I was like trying to be polite. So I was like, it's late, you know, I really don't know the area. I don't want to be driving at night. And he was like, oh, no. Like, you would leave your car here. Why would we take two cars? That makes no sense.
You're getting
at
out
that
of here.
point, I had already texted somebody to meet me at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And he got angry. Like, you could tell he was trying to hold it together and not seem angry, but he was like very angry.
Right after that night, and in the years leading up to Heuermann's arrest, Nikki says she told people she had gone on a date with the Gilgo Beach killer. No one believed her. There are still 3 unidentified bodies found at Gilgo Beach, including the body of a male found dressed in women's clothes, who police called Asian Doe.
There was another that police called Peaches because of a distinctive tattoo. There was a toddler that was identified as Peaches' toddler because of some jewelry they had in common and DNA testing.
What?
Another Gilgo Beach victim, who's since been identified, is Karen Vergata, a 34-year-old escort who went missing in 1996. None of them have been tied to Heuermann.
Prosecutors have no doubt. They say Rex Heuermann is their guy, is the serial killer. They've charged him now with 7 murders, and I would expect that if they can build the evidence, they will charge him with more.
Do you suspect that there's more bodies?
I absolutely think, sadly, that there will be many more victims associated with this case.
Dude, I was reading the comments down below, and it said that this guy could have killed like 50 women, right? Because if you've been killing for 50 years, tip of the iceberg, he's been killing for 50 years, lurking, hulking monster preying on small women without fear of being stopped. I mean, dude, you know what's funny? Like, well, not funny, but you know what's ironic, I should say? You know, the movie American Psycho, first of all, springs to mind. You know, a guy who's like a handsome guy, whatever, brings people over and then like kills them. That's like the premise of American Psycho, right? This kind of seems like American Psycho. He's the same boss guy. Obviously, he's ugly as hell, but, you know, it seems like that same kind of premise, the same kind of like weird sort of shit, like where like he's super rich, wealthy business owner, you know, he owns the business in the office and like everybody loves him, and then like he kind of does this at nighttime, like he's actually a serial killer in his pastime. Like, dude, get a different pastime. You know what I mean? Why don't you just hit the gym first of all? I mean, this is just mental weakness from top to bottom, guys. A lot of these guys, you know, you never see a guy but that's the premise of American Cycle. He's like in shape. He's like, oh, it's like a real philosophical type of thing. Insane, guys. I mean, that is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Like, America has a problem with serial killers. Like, every serial killer, Ted Bundy, this guy, the Washington snake killer. There's a lot of serial killers, prolific guys that have killed 50 plus people. So yeah, they have a massive problem with serial killers, guys. Scary place. Some places, obviously, and especially in a rich neighborhood. Like I said, it's kind of like a joke, but like, poor people shoot each other and stuff because it's like for money and da-da-da. This guy's just doing this for like pleasure, for like a pastime. This shit's insane, guys. But I had to react to that because one of my loyal patron supporters asked me to react to that, and obviously I saw it as well on YouTube a few months ago and was like, dude, what the hell is going on here? But let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to support me on Patreon. 200 block videos in the link down below. I love you all. Stay safe, stay free, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.